Hello everybody, this is Richard here and we are coming to you today with a new project. So, our hoop house. It is an old greenhouse that kind of got torn apart by the wind and we've converted it to our little covered shop space. It's time to upgrade this. So what we're going to be doing, tearing the tarp off and actually doing ferro cement. So it's going to be an actual kind of enclosed shop type situation. Be able to collect some rainwater off of it. Alright, so forgive the wind, but I want to give you guys a tour of where we're at and a before shot. So, you can see, this is our house. Tarp blew off. Such is life. So, the idea, we're going to be doing ferro cement over this whole thing. I think we can do some gutters, some stuff like that, and just make this into a permanent part of the structure. Alright, so I kind of feel like a hoarder. This looks terrible, but got most everything out of here. These tubes are real skinny. I mean, this is cheap little China made greenhouse that just has kind of fallen apart out here. I want to reinforce it, so I'm going to get some rebar. Alright, so we're getting our first layers of this chicken wire. This is all scrap stuff. I'm hoping I can get it all tied nicely together. I think this thicker stuff is going to act as a good structural component, and then that's going to tie in all of our cement. So, alright, so I'm going to do a little test patch here. I've got the wire mostly up. Our mix here is 3 parts sand, 1 part Portland cement, and I'm just going to mix that up. Hello everybody, we're out here on day 2. I got the wire up on the top. This is kind of not probably the best way to be doing this, but I can't really think of another way. I got the wire up top. I'm going to cover this in ferro cement and then come in and put the wire on the bottom and then cover that in ferro cement. And the reason for that is if I cover the bottom in wire and get the whole thing wired, I can't get access to the top. So I don't know what else to do. Alright, so this thing just happened. I was kind of worried that the poles for this weren't actually strong enough to hold up, and that proved to be the case. That sucks. Don't exactly know where to go from here. Alright, so we got a plan B. I'm gonna take this as an opportunity to reassess and build something better. That's why this collapsed. Because it's an opportunity, which is what I'm telling myself so I don't cry. I've got a bunch of pallets and they're similar sized. I can cut them down if I need to. I got this beam put in, got some rocks to shim it up. The plan here is to get some of the hurricane straps that we were using for our rafters for the little hyperdobe and run it around the gabion, through the gabion, lock that beam in place, put the pallets up, attach all them, do the same thing on the other side, and then run rafters all the way across. This project is probably going to get more expensive than I was hoping for, but honestly, I've been wanting a decent workshop since I moved out here. So since we're here, might as well spend the money on it, because I'll have to buy rafters, I'll have to buy roof sheeting. I think I have some roofing metal. So I'm gonna be running these hurricane straps pretty frequently through here, through the pallets to lock in the pallets to the gabions. It's definitely gonna be pushing it to get this done in my 5-day off period, but we'll see. What I'm going to be working on now is getting these hurricane straps in. It's locking the walls to the rock base. Good morning, it is day 3. Technically, but I'm going to call it day 1.5 because first day and a half just completely failed and we had to start over. So I'm up bright and early, ordered a ton of lumber and going to go pick that up. So hopefully today we can get our rafters in. I'm still pushing. I've got 4 days to get this thing dried in. So I got some 20-foot 2x4s, and that was fun transporting on a 16-foot trailer flopping down the road. And what I'm going to do is stick those across the top of these pallets, and that way it'll all secure, come one solid piece, and also just give me a nice flat spot to put the rafters on. I have this 20-foot 2x4 I'm sticking on top of both. And I'm really trying to figure out how to square it all up by myself. All right, so I measured from that corner to here, that corner to there. In theory, this should extend 7 inches past here, and then we will be square. Look at there. On the nose, probably within a 1/4 inch. I'm gonna call that good because I don't know how that happened, but I guess I know what I'm doing. All right, now that we're square and that we're plumb, we're back to these hurricane straps. So I've got these rocks stacked up nice and neat, and they're gonna get pressure down on them, and that should lock everything into place nice and tight. Got my beautiful set of plans right here. This is it. This is how I roll. We're gonna get 14 more of these cut and then start getting them installed. All right, so I got 2 fun tips for y'all. First one, when you're running rafters, get a string on each end, and then basically that'll let you know where to end your rafters, because I keep about 1/8 of an inch on these, just so they'll fit in nicely. So that way everything's lined up perfectly on both sides. The other thing is a spacer board. So this is just a piece of scrap. I want 16 on center on these, so I cut this at 15 1/4, which means I've got basically 3/4 of an inch on either side. The board is 1.5 inches thick. That'll give me perfect 16 on center without having to measure. It's about 6:30. I got maybe an 1.5 hours of light left. I'm ready to start rolling. I don't have all of them cut yet, but I've got like 7 of them ready to go up. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these up, give the place a little more stability for the night. I'm tired, I need a beer, I need to sit, but rafters come first. It's so nice when these like just fit with a good solid hammer strike, and they fit in perfectly, and it's beautiful and wonderful. Good morning, everybody. It is day 3 of this 5-day building challenge thing. Having done a bunch of through hikes in my life, done a bunch of building, done a bunch of earth bag work, day 3 and 4 are always the worst because you're less excited and you're tired. We're on it. We're getting going. I've got to get the rest of these rafters cut and up. Got the door frame, or the front wall and the door frame built and in pieces. What I'm going to be working on right now is getting the cinder blocks laid for our front foundation. I've got our blocks down, leveled all the way across. What I realized is my door frame is actually too tall. I just kind of eyeballed it. So I need to actually cut that down about 4 inches. All right, so we got our rebar cut. This is one of the least fun things about being out here, but it makes things strong. So got the rebar down maybe 6-8 inches. The rest of the way down is caliche. This white line right there, that's our clay soil. That's that calcium carbonate. That's essentially concrete. So by driving these spikes in and concreting the wall to the spikes, it's not going anywhere. We're connecting to the ground, to the earth. Now we're back, and the goal for today is to get our outriggers up, to get our back wall up, to finish out this wall, and to get some concrete in. So we got our outrigger rafters on. Now it's time to move on to our back wall there. Got the back wall built. It is very heavy, very large, very awkward. I think I can shoulder it and just take it over around. Just got our outriggers finished up over here. Last wall in. Next step is doing the plumb cuts for rafters on each side. So I'm going to try and get that done today. A super fancy tool here to do my plumb cuts. It's a rope on a piece of heavy thingy. Play a pair of pliers. There we go. Put that weight there. And then now I can mark. So then I just double check with my level. We look good. So I'm going to make that mark, make a mark on top, and then go do the same thing on the other side. Get a chalk line. So I got myself a little jig here. Nice two-handedly. That'll give me my plumb cut. I can do that the whole way down, and that makes life a lot easier. I got plumb cuts on the front of the place. I'm really happy with how far this has come in just really 3.5 days, like a long weekend. This is actually all pretty well framed out and ready for sheeting and roofing and all that fun stuff. Astro, racing the sunset. Can I make it? Good morning, everybody. We're back out here. It is day 6 of this build. As you can see, we got a roof sheeting on at least, and got all that nailed in. That was a marathon push yesterday. That was tough. Hands are definitely sore. What I'm going to be working on first is be putting in some blocking on these 2x4 walls, and then I'm actually going to be putting some 45-degree kind of corner shelves here on all 4 corners. It's going to add a little shelf space, which is kind of cool, and I think that's going to help kind of hold everything together a lot better, just because we get like hurricane force winds and like micro bursts of over 100 miles an hour. So I'm really kind of paranoid about over engineering this thing and making it really strong and stable. Make good luck with the hammer. Finally ran out. Smashed my thumb. I am really liking how these walls are actually looking. We've got a lot of these old shipping crates that still have some numbers and stuff on them. I think looks really cool. Eventually I want to do an earthen floor in here, and with that we need a couple inches of road base and a couple inches of the actual earthen floor. What's exciting about that is I think that's going to put this wall at a perfect bench top height, so I can build out this entire length as one long bench. It's going to be really cool, and then do a lot of storage on this wall, do some French cleat system on this wall, and just kind of keep the space opened up as much as possible. I got this whole mess, our collapsed structure taken apart, strewn out all over the lawn, and I got our heavy duty wire in, so this is going to kind of create the nice good structure. My next step before I put up all that wire is to put up some tar paper. So this is just stuff that's been laying around for a while, and I figure I might as well use it up. concrete set in. This is going to help further tie this structure to the ground, and hopefully it won't blow away because we get crazy winds out here. Next project is this door here. I think the idea that I have is to do like the double opening doors, so I'll do a latch here and then be able to just open this top part if I want while I'm working in here, because I don't love creatures coming in and out. So that'll give me an opportunity to shut these lower doors, keep the upper ones open for light and some airflow. Hit a little bit of a problem. I got everything up and I have this little thing that locks, which is great. But what I've noticed, so it shuts, but there's nothing to prevent that from opening. Okay, so I think I may have found a solution. This is just a super quick little prototype, but I'm gonna make something like this out of metal that's a little bit tighter, and that way I can slide, that'll still lock and not let that open. I'm also going to have a second lock on the outside of this, so this isn't the primary lock, this is more of just a door handle kind of thing. I have my second lock, and then I've got these guys with holes through it and a bolt that runs through both, so that'll stay locked. And I just broke my prototype because this is still a little tight. We're about done on this door for now. I still need to do some aesthetic stuff and just some cleanup, sanding, getting it to function a little bit better, but this should work. This was the very complicated door. I did not think it would be this difficult, but here we are. We'll also have security cameras out here, so I don't think anyone will mess with anything, but just like to be safe. Got that opens, and we come inside. Good morning, everybody. We're out here. It is day 12, I believe, on this build. Did another big push day today. The goal is to get our fascia board up, finish securing down our roof sheeting, and basically just get the roof ready for metal. I don't exactly know the best way to do this, but my thought is to get our side beams up first. They're running long, then to get our front and back. All right, so we got our first coat of oil on all of our fascia boards. Gonna do probably 3 coats on this. I always love how the Suzuki Bond boards look. Got that cut. This little jig has been super helpful to get those plumb cuts. That was well worth making instead of having to measure everything and use the square and all that fun stuff. And then have a torch. Help seal the wood, protect everything. Oops. next step is to get this asphalt paper up. So I wanted to get it on the roof first because I want to see how much I have left and if I have to buy another roll for the other side of the building. Hoping I don't, but we'll see, because I don't want to go into town this weekend. So I'm just going to use the materials I have and then get the roof on. Asphalt paper on a roof, even before it's full summer, is hot. My butt is burning and I still got a long way to go. Really? Box, just really. I was looking at the weather forecast for the week, and tomorrow the high is 97. So what that means is I really need to get this roof on today, because I do not want to be up dealing with bright metal sheets, asphalt paper on a roof in nearly 100-degree weather. All right, it's starting to heat up. Got the drip edge on. Time for roofing metal. Got all the metal up. That was actually not nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. It all went up pretty nice and square and easy enough. So I'm going to be working on getting all the screws in now, and then getting trim in, and then I'll be done with the roof, which is exciting. I vastly underestimated how many screws I would need. These little roofing guys. I got 2 boxes. That seemed like enough, but that was enough to get 2 rows on the front, 2 rows on the back, and 1 row in the middle. Not totally enough to actually call this done, because I'm doing them every 16 inches all the way up. Again, crazy winds out here. But I've got a small handful left. I'm going to get the rest of the trim up, and then I'll come back after I go to the store. So I want to go through where I get my roofing material. So you can see that this is not like perfect, pristine anything. For me, I don't really care. This is not structural damage. This is just water staining. And honestly, after our monsoon season comes through and pressure washes this thing for me, it's all going to wash off anyways. So who cares? Get all of our roofing material from Tucson Iron and Metal. They're not a sponsor. They don't know about me, anything like that, but they're a great scrap salvage yard, and they sell this. Prices have gone up just exponentially. It used to be around $1 a foot. Now it's around $3.50 a foot, which is just nauseating. But this is a 16 by 24 structure. All in all, I think the cost was around $500. I really like buying stuff used and salvage and not contributing to new material production as much as possible. So my next project, this is redundant and probably unnecessary, but I saw a neighbor's roof blow off the other day, and I'm not going to be messing around with this at all. So I have these hurricane straps on each beam on both sides. I'm going to be going back and putting another set on each beam on the outside so that we have double redundancy. Starting to get this all up,
and then this will get wired over and then cemented over. And the theme of the day, I'm out of these. So I've got some screws, I've got some washers, I'm going to make that work. But yeah, I'm just kind of ran out of roofing screws. I ran out of these screws, hurricane tie screws, ran out of nails. I'm running through every last bit of everything. I'm almost out of these. Let's put the wiring up. Today was a lot of progress. I got the roof on and I got the rest of the asphalt paper up. That's going to be my protective barrier. That adds a little bit of extra waterproofing, whatever, before the ferro cement goes on. It's also going to give me a good backer. I'm going to go put in my Home Depot orders because then I can get that picked up tomorrow and finish the screws on the roof. We're gonna call it for the night and start up again first thing tomorrow morning. So we're all wired up, everything except for the back. I'm going to start on plaster, the ferro cement, because I want to do it while it's in the shade. I got, I think, 4 batches on. This is going to take a very, very long time, but it's coming together. I end up doing probably 2 coats of this. One all the way around, let it harden up, and then a smooth out coat. Yeah, we'll just see how this comes out and keep on plastering all day. Alright, so the sun is creeping up on this wall. It's not really great to be doing this directly in the sun because the longer cement has to dry, the stronger it is and the less cracking and stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and move over to the other side. I got a lot of organization done this morning, and now that the shade has come over to this side of the building, I'm gonna start plastering, hoping to get at least the bottom section of this side done. Maybe like a third of the way done with this side. It's definitely taken a long time, but you can see the darker spot here. That was done today in maybe 4 or 5 hours. So yeah, a couple more really big days. Really big days, but I'm getting faster at it, which is nice. The mixer's dead. The gear here is slipping all the time. I thought it was the motor and needed a new belt, but that's not the case. It's actually this guy here. Luckily we have a second one. I'm gonna get the old guy out, and the best advice I can give to anybody who's using a Harbor Freight tool heavily is get the warranty on this. So we got the 1-year warranty on this. He's going back, they'll give me a brand new one. Probably 5 hours into today. It's almost noon, and making some progress, at least. I've definitely gotten faster, and almost got the bottom done over here. Fueling up for the afternoon push. It's time for, you guessed it, more plaster. Almost 13-hour day today. A lot of work got done, but I am tired. My right arm is like killing me because, yeah, plaster's a lot of work. But what I got done is a good chunk of this side. I got about half of the front side done, and then I got most of this back done today. I'm hoping within probably a day and a half I should have the plaster work done. Almost out of cement, and so I'm going to use up what I have with cement tomorrow. But for now, I'm going to go shower because, as you can see, I really need it. The last bit of cement is in the mixer, so this is the last batch for today. To run you guys through our mix, so I've been using 2 buckets of our sand, and that's the sand, cement sand, concrete sand that we purchase for our hyper adobe builds. And then I use about 3/4 of a bucket of cement, Portland cement, and a lot of water for the mix. So you can see it's pretty slushy sort of mix. I did get the last of the hard spots done, which is exciting. I'm so happy to be done with this lower area that the mix likes to fall through. I'm out of plaster, so I gotta get more cement when I go into town tomorrow, but I was able to get the front side totally done, which is very exciting. Are you supposed to be in here? I don't think you're supposed to be in here. Don't be getting any ideas. Come on, out, out, there you go. You're free, go away. Good morning, everybody. It is the final push weekend. It's today, tomorrow, that's it. To get this done. Luckily, yesterday was a town day, so I had to run errands, do laundry, all that fun existence stuff that's not building. And so at least my body got to recover a little bit. I have a lot of plaster to do today, so I need to finish this side, this whole side, and this whole side. My electrical inlet pipe put in, and instead of using the chicken wire, I had some of this aluminum screen material that I think will work just fine. It was scrappy and ugly and torn up, so I might as well put it in the wall. I went ahead and covered this just so I can get a tight corner here. I'm going to cement up and around this, but keep the front open, and then once the cement dries, I can come back and just trim off this front part. We are done! Done with the roof, done with the plaster. Now, all that's left to do is my probably least favorite thing in the world, and that is clean up. So, yeah, I gotta deal with that now. This is the last remnants of the old shop. All right, hello everybody. It has been a couple months, about 2 months since I've been out at the property. I traveled for a couple months in Spain and back at it, starting to get back to work. So project for today is our workshop. Alrighty, so before I left for Spain, I basically got this whole shop built in 3 weeks by myself, which is pretty cool, but it was a lot of work and I just did not have time to actually get everything nice and organized, so everything just got thrown in here and it is a mess and a nightmare to deal with. So I'm gonna start by just pulling some stuff out. What's tough right now is we're in monsoon season, so it's hard to like pull stuff out and then just hope that it doesn't rain, because it's raining most nights. Alrighty, I got the first section up. This will continue all the way down, and then probably all along this side too. But it looks so good. I'm so excited. I built this just real quick as a test sort of thing, but you can see kind of how our little cleat back there locks in. The one tricky thing with this is I'm gonna have to make sure that I make these cleats long enough to hit the pallets, but they're pretty locked in there good. I mean, this has got a decent chunk of tools on it. And so, yeah, I'm gonna start the goal is to kind of get the space here as empty as possible and being able to put stuff up on the wall. My next step is I got all these wire bracket shelves. You can see I already made a couple, and I'm going to get all these mounted, or get mounts put on all of them. I think I found these at a scrapyard for about $3 a piece. All right, wrapping up for today. Got everything back inside. What I've been working on, got our last cleat wall up, and got a bunch more of these little shelf hangers made. These guys, little magnet holder things. This is out of a book. I said really like these because you can just take them off, move them around, put them back up. Real nice and easy. We're working on this here. This is, got these little storage bins. Harbor Freight, like $15. And I'm just mounting them to a board, mounting that to a French cleat, and so one of the joys of doing earthwork monsoon season is racing to get back home and get unloaded before the monsoon storms come in. So this is the exciting shot of our rain from probably a ½ inch. I don't know, maybe an inch, but not a lot. So if you're ever camping in the desert, traveling in the desert, never drive across something like this. Never camp in something like this. And if you hear a rumble, get the hell out of the wash. Good morning, everybody. I've been putting off plastering the rock walls and stuff, and getting our bench built and stuff, because hopefully we're getting a new crew out, volunteers, eco-residents soon. So that's more of a group project is kind of my thought. So today I'm working on something that I really actually genuinely enjoy, and that is electrical. So we're getting this place wired up. So here's what we got. I got our first couple boxes going in over here. This is for our workbench. And I'm working on the one that's outside here. A little more challenging because I got to punch through the wall. So basically what I did is marked on the back, drilled 2 holes so that way I can see my corners, marked on this side, and now it's time to figure out how to cut this. Okay, so we got our box in on this outside. That was a pain. I've got one more outside box over on the back corner there, but luckily I put that in before I did the cement work. So need to get one more box up here, and then our box for our switch, and then our light box is up. So got all my boxes up. You can see right there. I'm still really bad at this, but yeah. So we got a 3-gang switch here. So I'm gonna have one circuit that is this side of the shop. So there's 4 lights here. One circuit that is this side of the shop. And I know that seems dumb because it is a small shop, but the reasoning behind that is we're doing YouTube videos. So I'm hoping to have a wall where I can shoot and actually be able to control the lighting a little bit better for shooting. So that's why we got 2 circuits. And then I also have the boxes up on these corners. You probably can't see them, for outdoor lights. So I've got some really bright floodlights that'll light up this area. And the next step is going to be pulling some wire. So what we're gonna do here is I've got a bunch of 12 gauge. I'm gonna be using our 12 gauge for our outlets. It's gonna be a little bit of a weird run because I gotta go from our breaker box to this outlet down here. So one thing that would have been smart was to punch these knockouts out before I put them in the wall and can't get to them very easily, but we're making do. So I got my rough in done. I still gotta tack up all those wires, but the staples I got were not big enough, so. Part of the fun of living out here is you get stuck on the wrong side of the wash, you're kind of dicked. So I really don't want to sleep in my truck, so I'm walking the 2 miles back home along the road with probably 30 pounds, 40 pounds worth of electrical supplies. And luckily picked up some beer in town, so we're just gonna have a beer, walk an hour to get in. Hey, so I made it back to the shop carrying 30 pounds worth of electrical equipment. A couple miles. That was a fun little hike. Yeah, I think I'm done. For the day. So crazy freaking storm. So this is one of our rainwater harvesting basins. Totally full, overflowing. We must have got a couple inches. Holy hell. That was a lot of water. Walked around yesterday and assessed the damage from last night's storm. Wasn't too bad. So I got a little cleanup to do, but luckily our fence was still in place and all that. So I'm not gonna worry about that today. I'm gonna be focusing on this. Hopefully we get everything done today. So still got to get some of my wires secured, run some more wires, get all the terminals together, get everything connected. And hopefully by the end of the day, I have power and lights in the workshop. That would be amazing. So I've got all my electrical roofing done. That's super exciting. So now's the next step to get all the light fixtures, everything wired up. Got our 2 outdoor lights up, so I think these are 150 watt bulbs each, LEDs, so they're like 14. And then I've got just our little security light here with our camera. So next step, I'm gonna get these interior lights up. I've got 6 lights to put up. Got all our lights up and wired, so a lot of light in here. Now I just got to move on to this beast here, getting that all wired up. I get our switches in, and then hook up our breaker box. losing light in here. It's kind of hard to see, but I really want to get these lights on tonight so I can finish out the outlets and be done with the electrical work. So I've got everything with the lights done, all the switches, everything up to the breaker. Now I just got to get our main breaker hooked up. All right, we're all hooked up. Power turned back on. This is always nerve-wracking because I'm always afraid I missed something. Let's see if this worked. Okay. That's not a good sign. No. Okay. Did I put my breaker on? That would be helpful. Let's try this again. Pretend that didn't happen. Ready? Okay. So our outside lights are working. Our inside light's not working. So I think something is not quite right in the switch box. It's dark, it's like 7 o'clock at night. I'm not gonna mess with it tonight. I will deal with that tomorrow, but I'm really liking our outside lights. It's looking really good. So I figured out that was a pretty easy fix, I think. Why this is our outdoor light was working, but these two aren't. I think our main line in is supposed to go to this black screw, not to gold screws up there. Tomorrow in the light, I'll get this taken apart and that should fix everything. Good morning, everybody. It is day 4, I believe, if you count the trenching day, on our electrical work in here. So definitely didn't think this would be that big of a project, but it is. All right, we're gonna try this again. I got the hot line switched over on the outlets. So we're gonna switch our breaker on. Fingers crossed this works. Aha! There's our set over there. There's our set over there. This is so much nicer. All right, so next step is to get our outlets in. So we've got 1, 2, 3. Our GFCI up the side makes 4, and then 5, 6 for our battery chargers up here. Luckily I have lights now. This is way nicer. Okay, so I'm starting here with the GFCI switch because this one's going to be the most difficult for a couple reasons. So what we're doing here, basically GFCI protects your any kind of water, any kind of ground fault. And if you put a GFCI first and string all your other outlets after it, all those outlets after it are protected. So the way I've got this wired is we're coming from our breaker box through this wall to here with our main load line. And then off of this, we're going to branch off to our outlet here. So that's where one of these wires goes up, back and around. And then the other wire goes up, over, and then through the wall to 1, 2, and 3. Put in the outside outlet in like 5 minutes and they attacked me. So got to turn off the main breaker. We're gonna get our outlet circuit hooked up to the main panel. Then we're pretty well done with electrical work in here. It's looking pretty nice and it's still a mess, but once this is done, this place is gonna get clean. During monsoon, we got the no-see-ums. I'm pretty sure they're vampires. Like, they can't be invited into a space. Because I was just putting this outlet on and just freaking swarm. As soon as you walk inside, they're fine. So we've got right here an example of a poor life decision. I don't know how you got in there. That's impressively bad decision making. And now we have a spider in our level forever. This is an exciting moment in this electrical build. Got our extension cord. It's a heavy duty cord, but it's not ideal. It runs all the way down there to our pump house. Gets to be gone. And that's very exciting because that's super janky and probably shouldn't have done that. But it's been working and it's what we got. So yeah, gotta get rid of the electrical cord. Excited. A little bit of life advice from a dung beetle. When life gives you shit, just roll with it. Finishing up electrical work, and this is one of my least favorite things in the world, is putting grounding rods in. So this is very important in case anything gets hit with lightning or we have a ground fire up or whatever, or something goes wrong. The issue is, I don't know if you can see over there, we have a lot of caliche. So I've got probably just under 6 feet to drive in, and it's literally driving it into rock. That was not nearly as traumatizing or difficult as I thought it was going to be. So I must have gotten lucky and found a crack or something like that. But I got a grounding rod in, got it wired up. Now I got to come back and actually re-dig out our trenches because they've kind of filled in with some of the rains, get our lines buried and fill those trenches back in. And then we'll be done with electrical, at least this phase. I want to get our gutters up on this pretty quick, just because that way rain can actually be managed a little bit. We don't have it going into tanks, which kind of sucks. I'm getting absolutely destroyed by no-see-ums, so I am done. And the reason I decided to get this gutter up and injure myself was because I'm tired of the rain. And so I figured if I get the gutter up, then it's not going to rain anymore. So that's my theory, at least. You can see our storms right there. At least the water's not draining right here. So you can see it's starting to kind of erode out here, which is not great. It was also kind of getting this area super saturated and puddled. And so inside here, you can kind of see the wet spots, which is not a big deal right now because all this is rock and metal and dirt, but I want to prevent that as much as possible. So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to collect water off of this structure this year, and we're at the end of monsoon season anyways, but I got it up and diverted, and so it will go that way instead of into the junk pile. Back out here on another day of workshop build. So, learned something about myself today. I'm very good at procrastinating, which if you don't know what that is, it's basically doing a project that you don't necessarily need to do in place of doing a project that you're supposed to be doing so that you don't feel bad about not doing anything. I really hate doing wire work. Really hate it. But my other project that I should be working on today is plumbing and cleaning. And the two things that I hate worse than wire work are plumbing and cleaning. So instead of doing those things, I'm going to be doing the wire today. So we're going to get started on this, get this cut up, reshaped, rearranged. Got 2 of the 3 layers done. I'll do one more because I found like the more dense chicken wire is, easier the plaster goes on and the less waste. So the more dense I can get the wiring, the better. This is actually kind of turning out a little more flat than I expected it to be. I don't know if you can see now that it's in, and that there's like a big divot right here, and there's some big divots and some big ins and outs and stuff like that that I was really concerned about. This just being super wonky, but I think it's not square by any stretch of the imagination, but at least like kind of a wall. Got all our wire on, which is very exciting. and I think it's going to look pretty good. Given all this is going to be underneath a workbench, so it's not going to be that noticeable, but it's flattish. I tried as much as possible, and the eventual goal of this workshop, which is naive, is to seal off any nooks, crannies, anything like that. Basically just making this one solid lump, because the rats and the mice and the bugs and the spiders and the everything wants to get in. If you haven't watched our other videos, how this is the rest of that gabion wall that kind of bumps out. And this side's pretty flat because kind of the gabion's on the inside. I got our mixer out. I got some cement knocked off of it. I've got it all kind of put back together. It's been through a lot. Got to get the build site cleaned up a little bit. Got to get in here cleaned up a little bit. Got to go get sand. Got to go get water. Got to go get cement. And yeah, it's just a lot of prep work before actually getting to put cement on the wall. So. Fair amount of work to get this all ready, but we're finally ready to start throwing some plaster up on the wall. So all that's left to do is do it. Got 2 wheelbarrows done. That back corner, I started at the hardest spot. It's hanging back, so it's really hard to get the plaster to stick. And then it's also in that super tight corner that's hard to get through. I'm wrapping up for today. The bugs are just very determined to get into my brain and ears, and it's very difficult to do concrete work like precisely while bugs are eating your face. So really happy with how this is coming together. There we go. I got probably a third of it done today. This is very much just kind of winging it, but it's kind of cool. I like the kind of rock, big boulder sort of vibe that this workbench is going to have. Over here, the rocks were just a lot higher, so I had to come all the way up to that metal beam, and then basically kind of brought it down over here. So kind of the idea is this is going to be more tool storage, and then move everything over here as it's getting used. It's going to be real interesting figuring this section out tomorrow, because I've got to drop this down so that I can actually have another step down over and then step back up and over for the miter saw station. I was having some issues with the concrete kind of slumping down in this corner here, so I just chopped up some extra wire, brought that in, same on this corner. I'm gonna let that dry, and then I'll come back in and fill that in with more concrete. Good morning, everybody. It is another day on concrete build thingy workbench. I think what I'm gonna do here is actually put a piece of 3/4 inch plywood. You know, I don't want to run my drill bit into a concrete. Yesterday was pretty cloudy and our batteries didn't get filled. So our batteries are out right now, so no power. So I've got to wait for a little bit on that, but that's okay. Got these shelves. You can see I use these. These were just, I think they were about $3 a piece at a little scrap junkyard thing. And I'm gonna use that as the corner braces. I'm gonna have a couple inches of cement here, so that'll raise this up to be nice and flat and even. And also I've got probably a couple pieces of plywood, so I'm going to use the plywood as kind of to get it perfect, basically. Over here, threw a few more rocks, and just to get this raised up a little bit. It's gonna be a little weird here, but that's one of our support rocks, so I can't really move that. I don't think I'm getting to concrete today. I was sitting here kind of looking at it and thinking, and I was noticing the hurricane straps. So we've got these straps here, and basically it's anchored in other places because it's connected. These pallet walls are connected on either end, but really their main connection point to the gabion wall below here is through these hurricane ties. And I was sitting here looking at it, and I'm like, we're gonna have spinning blades and tools and people that don't necessarily know what they're doing in here. I don't want these to get cut. So I think what I'm gonna do is actually concrete up the wall quite a bit and almost create like a little backsplash sort of vibe. So what I'm gonna do is come in here and take down this bottom row of French cleats and then wire up to the base of the second French cleat. So we'll have the concrete actually coming up to about there. I think that'll be good to protect everything. Goal for the day is to get this whole side done. Got extra help today, which is nice. It's the first time I've had someone else working on this project. I think 2 hands will make this go a lot faster. Okay, we're moving right along on this project. Got this all leveled out. Got this side, we're still piling concrete up. Got a bunch of scrap wire in here. One thing that's kind of cool is I started on a test patch for our finished cement, our final layer. This has got some natural earth pigments in it. I'm just kind of playing with stuff, seeing what may look good. So we're just going to try this, and then if I like it, we'll go over the whole thing. I do think I want to make this a little more blue. Been nice having Jonathan is out there helping mixing while I'm in here plastering. The corner over there has been an absolute nightmare, so I'm just leaving it for now, letting it harden up, and then I'll come back and patch in that spot. It's a little bit optimistic about getting this all done today, but yeah, we're moving right along. I'll get another 3-4 hours into it. We had a casualty on the build site. Yep, that's pretty bad. We got quite a bit done. I was hoping to get the whole thing done, but we still have this little patch. Basically, this section was real wonky. It's kind of curving in, and so a lot of the cement was just falling off. It was also kind of a little bit looser than some of the other spots, so it's just best to walk away, let it dry. It'll harden up, and that'll be a lot easier to deal with next build day. Good morning, everybody. We're back out here on another build day on our workshop, finishing our wall. We only have a little bit left to go. What's amazing is this lower part, which is actually thicker, still a little bit damp, which is nice because the longer it takes to dry, the less likely it's going to crack. Got our plaster almost done. I'm so annoyed by this, but we ran out of plaster with that much left. That much. So close. So I'm not going to worry about that. We're pretty much done up here. Just going to let that dry, and then next time we do our finish coat, I'll make a quick patch and throw it on. Alright, we're getting started with our finished plaster on this. I've got some cool pigments. So we've got this really dark black. We've got kind of a dark green. Just like to give it a little color, a little bit of life, because just the, concrete gray I don't think looks very good. Couldn't find our measuring cups, so we're getting real scientific with this and just kind of eyeballing it for our test batch. Hopefully I'll get a better mixture for our finished batch. Wrapping up for the day. Got a lot done. We got our boards cut. This is such a weird bench. It's like 4 levels, whatever. The reasoning behind that is just because the way our rock wall was. This whole building's been very impromptu. The other thing, I got started doing a couple test patches out here. And so this is kind of a mix of mostly dark and green. They're gonna change colors pretty dramatically whenever it dries. I don't know that I'm loving just the straight green, so I think we're gonna do like a darker gray. I think that's the way to go on this, because our pump house over there is kind of this dark green, and it's like either they should match exactly or they need to be totally different. So I'm starting on getting some of these fitted. Everything is super weird because the plaster's like wavy and stuff, so brought out one of the natural builder's favorite tools, this guy. Kind of cool about this, so I'm able to put that right up against the wall, get a measurement, and then cut these wonky angles so that these boards will fit just nice and super tight up against that wall. Alright, so I'm going to be really glad when the shop is done, because we're moving all this stuff to this side of the shop again, and then I got to move it all the way back to this side, and then we got to clear off this again, and da-da-da-da-da-da. It's really annoying. Finally ready to get our finished plaster on. I'm going to be doing a little bit heavier cement coat on this, because I think it'll help it stick a little more. Halfway on this wall, but what I need to do now is move everything again from this side to this side, so that I can get our countertops in, get those all leveled out and nice and stuff. Then that way we can start on the cement on the other side of the wall. Alright, I'm wrapping up for the day. It looks so good. I am so disgusting. I just saw myself in the camera. So, we got all of this done. I'm so happy. We got both walls, the finished plaster on. I'm sure I'll still have a couple touch-ups and stuff, but honestly, it's probably pretty close to good to go. We had literally to like the square inch, just enough plaster to get this done. Just super exciting. Yeah. Done with this. Got the countertops in. The exciting part, for me at least, our floor. So we're getting earth bag in here to raise up this floor probably around 6 inches, because as you can see, I'm very tall and this bench top is still pretty tall for me. So we're gonna get the floor raised up so this is actually a comfortable working height for people. Pour some concrete on top of that so it's a nice clean surface, and go from there. Other thing we got working on is leveling out this floor. So that's really exciting. We got this all dug out, quite a bit of dirt, and just kind of layered it right here. So this will be more of a ramp up instead of a step up. Next step is getting our plastic down. We've got a 6 mil plastic sheeting, and I was hoping to get like 8, but this is the only thing that Home Depot had, so such is life. Alright, you got our first bag placed, a couple made up. Some of these bags are about 2 years old, so a lot of them are blown out on us, but getting there. I think we got about 65 bags to do total, so that should go somewhat quickly. We've had everything sitting outside, and since I put everything outside, the rain's decided to come back. So we've been getting rain pretty consistently, which is really annoying when I can't put all my stuff in my workshop. So we're really pushing to get this bag work done today. We've got about a third of it, I would say, done yesterday, or last build day, last weekend. And it really only took like 3 hours with 3 of us. So it's going pretty quick. You guys can see kind of what we got done and then what we have left to do. So we were wrapping up. That was quick. We got all the bag work done, 2/3 done in like 3 hours. Just flying. I was trying my best to keep up with the guys, and struggling, so they killed it, and our floor is in. We'll eventually be doing concrete on top of this probably next week. I've got to get bags and start moving in, start getting stuff cleaned up, start getting stuff organized, make this into a functional shop. So exciting. And it's the sun coming through the rain. Okay, so we're getting kind of fancy here, and I got the laser level out, and I basically got a laser going all the way around. And what that's gonna do is let me put this expansion gap all at the same level, so then I can mark a chalk line, and then we can have a line for where the line is gonna be. These expansion gaps are gonna basically make it so the concrete can move a little bit once it's dry, heating and cooling, and doesn't crack. I got most of our expansion joints in. I guess we're in there, back in the front, but those are pretty quick and easy. This is super weird, just because it's all curvy and all over the place. Then I'm gonna mark a scribe line all the way across, because I've noticed this side is like probably close to 1.5 inches higher than this side.
You're gonna leave cute little footprints all over the side. Go, Richard! Like a dancer. Light bulbs.
Beautiful. 3 bags left to get this whole thing done. This is stressing me out. Alright, we're headed to check out the concrete. I just showed a neighbor. He said it's got a Salvador Dali look, which is never a good thing. I'm trying to get a flat slab, but yeah, we're about leather hard right now, so I've got these foam boards that I'm going to try and put on there so I don't tear stuff up too much, and then steel trowel this out. It's like a game.
It's not bad, it's just uneven. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the worst, how bad is it?
7.
I think it's more like a 4. Because I think it reminds me of Salvador Dali.
Okay, so I just came out here to steel trowel. Yeah, it's not looking good. Not at all. Not happy with how this came out in the least bit. All kinds of wonky all over the place and very unlevel, very ugly. So I'm not even gonna worry about troweling it. I really didn't want to do this because it's expensive and it's gonna be like $300 more, but I think I'm gonna get self-leveling concrete, put a coat of that on top of this, and hopefully that'll help a little bit. It's kind of the cheat code of the concrete world. But the other issue I have is we had to make this slab so freaking thick just to get it level. And now that's a convenient head level. So I gotta figure out how to redo the door, redo all of it. So here's where we are. And yeah, I'm sad. But such is life, move on. This is a workshop, so it's a learning opportunity. Everything's a learning opportunity out here. Probably can't see from here, but there's a definite like hump right here that slopes down. This was just super thin, so we ended up having some rebar popping out, some issues with the trowel when I tried to get the rebar in, and then just in general kind of wonky all over. So I got some self-leveling cement. It's about another $350 for this pour. We've got some concrete bonding primer that we're going to get down, and I'm going to get my angle grinder in here and just start trying to like grind down a little bit of this so that our self-leveling will go on a little bit easier. But such is life. We're going to move on and get this fixed. Today is hopefully our last day on this concrete floor. First pour did not go well at all. So I got self-leveling concrete, cheater's version of concrete, because you can't really screw it up. Yeah, so we're gonna try and level out this floor. Got in here yesterday and we got a lot of it angle grinded down, a lot of those high spots. And then got our bonding sealing primer, which I don't know what that does, but it seemed important. So luckily it's self-leveling stuff, so it's really easy to mix. You just put a ton of water in there and dump it on the floor and then don't touch it.
Sneaky sneak over here.
I don't think you're supposed to be there. Floor sealed and it's looking decent. It's not everything I wanted it to be. It's still a little funky, but that sealer on there makes it look pretty nice. So I'm gonna give this a C. We're gonna call it good for this project. Hello everybody, welcome back to the Terraform Homestead. We just completed pouring our floors, which is really exciting, and finally are almost able to get this shop into a usable space. Floor is somewhat dried. It's still, so it's definitely a lot better. I'm gonna give it like a C, solid C. I was gonna say C plus, but that's too generous. Came out to be super unlevel, so we ended up having to make them a lot thicker than we were hoping to do, which unfortunately meant our door frame is a lot lower than it should be. So did some research. I think we're gonna be able to thin out this door header just a little bit to give us a couple more inches of clearance, which will be nice because I don't want to be hitting my head on this. Okay, so here is the issue that we're facing. We have our door frame header here. This is way too thick. It is overkill for what we need, so I think based on what I was researching, we can trim this probably down to a 2x4 header. It's not ideal, we're definitely stretching our limits, but what I'm gonna end up doing is putting an additional 2x4 here, so that way it'll come up. I'll patch this little gap here, get everything secured. The thing that makes me less worried about doing a 2x4 header, even though this is just over 4 foot across, so technically we should have a 4'6" header, is we really don't have very much framing or weight on this. And also we have another top plate beam that goes all the way across this. So really our header is gonna be, what is that? 3.5 plus 1.5 inches, so 5 inches thick. So got some 1.5 inch tube steel, and I think I may just do 3 layers of that. Seeing that this header is not really doing much, it looks like, I think we're gonna wing it. We're gonna go for it. First thing I gotta do is get this off, figure out how this header was on, which I think is gonna be a whole lot of fun to get off, because I'm pretty sure there's about 1,000 nails in it. Got our new header made. So I was doing the calculations, and it was saying that one 1-inch steel tube was roughly equivalent to a 2x4. So, what I didn't think about, and I don't know why I was so worried, I have 3 1.5 by 1 inch tubes. What I did is ran a hole all the way through all 3, and then basically just kind of riveted it together. So I can push this up, and that'll just hold all 3 of these together. Probably once I get our new solar system that is coming, I will come back and just overhead tack weld these together. But really, they're not going anywhere once they're locked into place. So we have our new header in. Look at that view. Such a pretty place out here. I think this is going to be as strong, if not stronger, than our last one. So you can see I can walk under here with like 3-4 inches above my head, which is nice because I'm 6'2", and I don't want to be hitting my head on everything for the rest of my life out here in this shop. So that was definitely a necessity. I'm glad I got that done. My next project is our doors. So I found this one, Habitat Restore, for 15 bucks. I have had this one in our scrapyard for, I don't even know how long, forever. Actually, no, this was off of my house. That's what it was, and we replaced it. So I'm gonna get these cut down and into place. We're gonna put like a fascia board on them so it cleans them up and, you know, cleans up some of these cracks and stuff. beautiful tight joint. We're gonna be doing basically kind of a diagonal pattern all the way up this one, and then our other one we're gonna do the diagonal pattern in the opposite direction. And then I have some glossy jade stained poly gel stuff, which I think will look really cool with the outside. Got the first door done. I'm definitely gonna need some more pallets broken down because that's what I got left. So next steps on this, you know, it's all used lumber, so I gotta come in and fill in some of these cracks with some wood putty. Okay, we've officially switched over from sunshade protective goggles to clear protective goggles, which means it's a late work night. Alright, so I got our second door covered. It's looking real good. Came in here and just did a quick sand on this little section because I want to test our water-based poly stain something or another, whatever that is, to see how it's going to look. So cool. The crew got the door sanded down today and they're just looking so cool. Hello, it is another day on Workshop Build. Doing a bunch of stuff today. Our big focus is our doors, getting those in so we can get the place sealed up and finally get it locked up and nice. I'm not sure how much filming I'm gonna be able to do today because it is windy, it is kind of cold out. We're definitely switching seasons right now, so yeah, we're rocking the Tiger sparkly long sleeves today, which is super fashionable here out in the desert. So, okay, we're working on our doors today. As in, they're doing a great job getting us stained. We got these sanded last build day, and I need to cut off just a hair on the top of the door because it's rubbing just a little bit. I do want a little bit of a gap so when the wood expands and contracts, it's not going to get shut. But I've never seen this happen before. The tip of my bit broke off in the screw head. I think at this point everything's just raunchy.
Well, it's 4 a.m. bag with stamps. No money, no honey, and this liquor's got me feeling crummy. Hug me.
Last thing we worked on is starting to get our rock work done for the house. This is kind of a signature style of mine at this point, between our little hyper adobe over there, the pump house, and this one, it just looks really cool. I always love just to like look like the building is raised up out of the ground. And two, it'll kind of help protect our plaster work. It's an opportunity for us to bring in a lot of like the cool crystals and stuff, get kind of artsy with it, bring in some of that mining slag we picked up. So tomorrow we're going to keep moving on this. I'm hoping to get a lot of the rock work done. Got a lot of work done on our rock work, so we got most of the way around. I'm really pretty happy with how this is turning out. It's a fun time to use up a lot of our little stuff, a lot of our mining slag, things like that. But kind of my design aesthetic out here is I really enjoy just like having a structure that looks like it pops out of the ground, and this kind of gives it a cool appearance. So got all the way to here. We did get our pipe in, or the first pipe in for our solar line, so still have quite a bit of trenching to do here. Run that corner, and then yeah, we just have this side to do with our rock work, and I have my sculptural piece that will be coming at some point in this imaginary land where I have time. That'll go right here on the front. What do you think, boss lady Hannah?
I think they're doing great. What do you think?
It looks great. All right, everybody, we're back out here on our final push days on the exterior of the shop. I'm so excited to get this thing done and move on to the next project. Yesterday, the crew worked hard to get the rock work finished up. So today we're getting into all of our finished plaster. I want to just kind of take you guys around and show you where we're at. So this is what the crew's working on yesterday. It looks gorgeous. I'm so happy with this. We also they got this all landscaped out today using our extra rocks. We still need to put in our trench line or our wires for our new solar setup. Lots of projects I have to do. That B-roll, you know. You busted all the way through. We're to the ground. There we go.
Yeah.
We are starting on our back cabinet sort of thing. Basically, this is going to be a place to store our batteries, store our air compressor, and store our generator. So it's going to be separate from the main workshop. It's a place that we don't really need to access very frequently. We're going to be able to insulate this so that it is better for the batteries, also reduces the sound of our generator and our air compressor. So what the crew's been working on, they've gotten this area cleared. We're just about ready to get our cinder blocks in. I like to put everything up on cinder blocks because we do have termites out here. Basically means we don't put wood on the ground, so it protects things and lets us anchor everything to the ground through rebar spikes and then to the wood framing. All right, we are moving right along, getting the blocks in nice and straight, square-ish sort of just getting these leveled out, and then I've got to actually take everything out, put our vapor barrier down, and then cover it back up. All right, we are all squared up and we're getting bags down. Basically, these bags are just kind of to fill a gap, so we're not having to use as much concrete, which will be a nice cost-saving benefit. We're almost done. I just got to get tamped in one more bag. But yeah, the storm's coming in quick, so I'm gonna try and get this done. Time to go. The storm's coming in. Made it in. You can hear it. That was literally, we got the last bag in. And it just started downpouring. So we're done. Good day today. Gonna tap out and get some other stuff done in here. We got our fan ready to go in. I got our thing marked. I kind of messed that up. So it's gonna hit our header board here, but get our fan in. And this is gonna help for some ventilation in the plate. I got our fan in. This will get kind of trimmed out with our next layer of cement, and that'll lock everything into place and do the greatest job cutting that out, but it's level enough. I'm happy with that. We'll get this guy hooked up, and this is going to add a lot of ventilation to the property, which will be, or to the shop, which will be really nice. These online calculators are not accurate at all, because we were like halfway through and only got like this little section done. We're gonna fill this with gravel, so that way it's a thinner slab, which is not a big deal. There's not much back here, but that should extend the life of our concrete, or extend the use of our concrete, so that we can get by with 20, I think we're at 26 bags or something. And according to the calculator, this was supposed to take 20, so. I just got our new inverter today, which I'm so excited about. We've had these batteries sitting here for like 5 weeks that we couldn't hook up because we have a 24 volt system over there, and this is a new 48 volt system. And I've just been having to look at our batteries while my power keeps going out, because our current batteries are shot. So I'm very excited to get this in. I've got the day to work on it. I'm hoping I can get it mostly built today. Got these screws thinking they would be long enough, but what I didn't account for was our plaster is not flat in any way, shape, or form. So there's a lot of places, most of the places, where I can't actually get one of these screws all the way through into the wall. You know, instead of going to the store and buying the proper things, I have big bolts that I found. They're not meant for concrete, but we can pre-drill. I'm trying to figure out a good way to find the studs on the other side of the wall so that I don't run one of these big bolts into our electrical panel. And I came up with this. So on the other side of the window, see there, got some green tape where all of our studs are. So now I know I can just drop down here, drill through, pre-drill, and bolt these into the wall. Project we're working on now, getting Larry over there to help us cut down this, I forget what it's called, sheeting stuff, actually out of his bus that he's renovating. So we're reusing materials instead of throwing them away. And then we're gonna do our ferrous cement over this. We are wrapping up for today. It has been a pretty solid work day. We ended up getting a good chunk of our back hatch thing built, which is very exciting. And I need to get some more supplies, so I need to get some wood for the roof before we get that on, because I just have the one sheet of plywood. We got all of our soffits up here painted up, caulked, sealed, all that kind of stuff. Got our fascia board burned, so it's been a busy day. It's been a lot. So I'm gonna go get cleaned up and crash. We did quite a bit of work on this last build day. I ran into town early this morning and got another sheet of plywood, got our rest of our trim and all that. So we're gonna continue on this, hopefully have the roof on by the end of the day, maybe get this insulated so that way I can come in here and start working on some electrical stuff. Got a couple hours into this today. Got our roof on. Luckily I cut everything last week. Got our asphalt paper on, got our drip edge on. So tomorrow first thing I get the metal roof on, get some plaster up on this thing so it'll start matching and looking like the rest of the building, which will be very exciting and nice. We're wrapping up another day out here. I didn't film a lot today outside of some time-lapse stuff, just because we were just cranking to get stuff done today. But I want to take you guys around and show you what we did. So the first big move for today was getting our metal roof on, which is very exciting. And this is adding about another 40 square feet or so of roof space. Eventually I'll come in and put a gutter here. That'll tie into here, that'll tie into an IBC tote, but at least it's on. I think this is looking really sharp. Like, I love this Osugi Bond wood. We got our soffits in, I still need to paint. And then, as you can see, we got our plaster moving. So we got a lot of that done. Crew got insulation in here. It's hard to see, but we use these red bags, some of our trashed Hyper Adobe bags, just to keep the ceiling insulated. And so since our batteries are going back here, this will kind of keep this a little bit more temperature controlled, which will be nice. This concrete and the building itself will actually soak up a lot of heat during the day, and then actually like a mini heater back here at night to keep those batteries from freezing. For now, I am tired, but I have to go to town and pick up more concrete for tomorrow. So I'm gonna do that before it gets too terribly dark, and call it a day and come back and crash hard. Continued on our rock work, got a lot of that done, and then started our finish coat for the ferrocement plaster on the exterior of this. We'll say probably 6 months ago, really I guess before I started this project, plaster work just scared me for whatever reason. I have no idea why. Gotten a lot more confident with it, and that's really exciting. It's definitely taking a lot more time than I anticipated to do this finish coat. So I think probably, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 full work days to actually get all the way around the building. So here we are with the finish coat. Got this built out today. So this is where our 55-gallon barrel will sit, and then basically we can collect rainwater off of this spigot or downspout. We'll put up a gutter here, which will give us about another 40 square feet of rainwater collection. Run that over to this barrel, and that'll basically be our first flush tank. That's where all of the bird poop and dust and just gunk that gets on the roof between rains, we'll use that for plants, construction, stuff like that. And then we will trench, so that'll sit right there. We'll trench out and over to that big pit over there, which is where our water tanks will go eventually. We're going to be doing our finish plaster here today. So take you guys around to the side here, and you can see this is kind of a section that I did earlier or last weekend, I guess. It's looking real nice. We only have a few tiny little cracks, which I'm not too worried about. Do you want to be friends, little bunny? I've seen this guy the last like 3 days. It's so weird that he's just like coming up. It's okay, buddy. Definite no. Definite no. Definite no. Definite no. I think, unless I change my mind before Monday, Gardner soil. It's our winner. It's got a dark classiness to it, but doesn't look too just boring beige. I think it's going to contrast nicely. I think it's going to match the environment pretty good. How's it going up there?
It looks so cool!
Thank you guys so much for making it this far in this video. This workshop has been such a game changer here on the property, and it's something that I wish I would have done right off the bat. Now that we've been working in this shop for around 4 months now, it has been such an amazing experience. We've been able to upgrade our systems, upgrade our tools. We were able to weld now off of our solar system, so bringing some really cool metalwork onto the property. We recently bought a 3D printer, so in the efforts of sustainability, instead of purchasing plastic products that are shipped all the way around the world to us and take forever to get here, we're able to produce a lot of those things on our property in a matter of hours just by downloading things and printing them. I would love to get more into making our own filaments out of old plastic bottles and things like that. So metalwork, woodworking, all these cool projects. We've got so much coming up for you in the near future here. So if you've made it this far in this video, I assume you enjoy what we're doing out here. So consider a subscription, hit that subscribe button, consider hitting a like. Let me know what you think about this build, what you would add to it, things like that. Thank you guys for watching. Go build something cool.